Am I the a-hole for asking my stepbrother to take eggs off the menu at his own wedding? This is a throwaway account because both my stepbrother and his fiancée have read it. My stepbrother and his fiancée are getting married soon. It is a destination wedding, and the destination is very hot. For some background, my stepbrother and his fiancée met at the gym about 7 years ago. They didn't start going out until about a year into their friendship and finally got engaged this summer. They have a mutual love for the gym, and with that comes a mutual love for protein. Here's the problem: I am allergic to the majority of animal proteins, mostly seafood and eggs. I'm also a little bit of a picky eater, but I believe that is my own problem, so I don't let it affect other people in everyday situations, obviously. Now, I have known my stepbrother since he was 4 years old. I obviously lived with him for many years, babysat him, and drove him everywhere. I am 7 years older than him. We see each other as if we are blood related. For his wedding, I have done a lot of planning with them because I had a wedding myself, so I know how it goes. For their destination, they chose a beach, and the wedding will start before sunrise so they can have the sunrise during the ceremony. It's super cute. I looked at the menu, and there will literally be nothing I can eat. For breakfast, they are serving eggs Benedict on some sort of potato patty with either herbs or mushrooms on top. There will also be a seafood bar throughout the day, and, of course, an alcoholic beverage bar. They hired a caterer to do all of this, and I have to go through my stepbrother first to request any substitutions, which is a no-brainer, and I have nothing against that. When I found out the plans for the food, I asked if I could have a substitute meal. He said no. I offered to pay for it. He said no because I would just feel so guilty if I made you pay for your own meal at my wedding, or something like that. To be honest, I'd rather pay for my own food than die. There are no fast food places around. My hotel doesn't start serving food until 8 o'clock, and I'll still be at the wedding. I don't, and literally can't, go the whole day without food because I am disabled. I have a connective tissue disorder. There are a lot of symptoms that come with it, and I need to eat, or else I could get very sick and irritable. I understand why he might be upset by me asking for my own meal because, growing up, I was really, really picky with my food. But now I try my best to eat what I can. Eggs give me a rash and diarrhea. Seafood gives me anaphylaxis, but only when I eat it, so I can still touch it and be fine. It's a kind of mild allergy in that regard, but I can still die if it is left untreated. Having an alternative meal or just replacing the eggs with something else would make my life so much easier. My husband is on my side, obviously, but the rest of my family, while still concerned about my allergies, thinks I should just suck it up. So, Ada for asking my stepbrother to take eggs off the menu at his own wedding? Edit: there are hors d'oeuvres at the wedding that do not have seafood in them. My options are pickles, spinach dip with crackers, and cream cheese. Clarification update: I wanted to come on here, clear some things up, and answer some questions. First of all, thank you, everyone, for your opinions, both positive and negative. I understand that people don't really like picky eaters or enjoy having to go out of their way to help someone who has my issues. I also wanted to confirm that my title was clickbait, and I am extremely apologetic for that. It won't happen again. I am sorry. My future titles will be 100% to the point. Now for the questions: am I karma fishing? No, I'm not karma fishing. This is not my actual account, so karma farming on this account would get me nowhere. This account will be scrapped after I solve my issue. Can I bring my own food? This was more of a statement than a question a lot of the time, but I will end up bringing my own food if it comes down to that. Does my brother hate me? No, I don't think he does. His response to me asking for a substitution was very out of character. This entire situation has been very weird, and I'm excited for it to be over. Am I faking my disabilities or allergies? No, I am not. I am allergic to seafood, shellfish and fish, and I have a sensitivity to eggs. They make me have diarrhea and vomit. I'm also not faking my disabilities. Saying that someone is faking their disability is insanely disrespectful. I didn't want to be specific about what I have for personal reasons, but I have POTS along with EDS and some other smaller issues. Here is a more in-depth rundown of the conversation we had on the phone. I asked, "So, what kind of food are you going to be having at the wedding?" He responded by telling me about the breakfast and the seafood afterward. I asked him about substitutions for anyone who is allergic, and he said he wasn't sure about substitutions and that he was probably going to have to say no for right now. I told him that people weren't going to be too happy with that answer and that at my own wedding I had to make multiple different substitutions. I said that I would be more than happy to pay for those substitutions if he needed me to. To that, he replied that he would feel bad making me pay for substitutions. I'm having a sit-down conversation with him on Saturday, so you all will be getting an actual update by then. I'd love any advice on what to say to him. This situation has been so confusing for me. Thank you all. Update 1, it's Saturday, you all. Here's the update you guys have been waiting for. After I made the original post, I talked to my aunt, who is also going to the wedding. She has a dairy allergy. I asked her if she had talked to them about the food at the wedding, and she said she had. They were fairly understanding and explained to her that the only part of the meal she might have to substitute would be the hollandaise sauce, and she would just avoid the cream cheese from the hors d'oeuvres. The butter for any seafood is also on the side. They were fully supportive of giving her the substitution she needed. So, confused, I gave my aunt a rundown of what I had experienced, and she was just as puzzled as I was. Today, I had a sit-down conversation with him and asked about the food situation. I asked why he said no to my substitutions. He wouldn't give me a straight answer. I asked why everyone else who wanted substitutions got them. Again, he wouldn't give me a straight answer. But when I brought up paying for my own substitutions, oh, did he talk? He said that the whole misunderstanding about not wanting to let me pay for my own substitutions came from him thinking I meant I wanted to pay for everyone's substitutions. I would have been fine with that if it was something I had to do. By the way, he said he didn't want me doing that, which I completely understand. The last question I asked was, if accommodations were available, why was I the only person being told no? I told him that I had talked to our aunt and knew that her food substitution had been approved. He danced around that topic as well, saying things like, well, you know Auntie. She can get anything she wants. You know how she is. He was basically making a joke about our aunt being a Karen, which wasn't my favorite thing to hear. Finally, I just said I would be more than happy to talk to the caterer myself if that was necessary. That's when he got quiet. I was so confused and still am. The more I pushed for answers, the more uncomfortable he became. Finally, after about 5 minutes of going in circles, he admitted that he knew substitutions were possible. Obviously, both of us already knew this. Apparently, the caterer had offered allergy accommodations, which is what my aunt told me as well. Not only that, but several guests had already requested modifications to their meals, including my aunt. That's when things got even weirder. He told me that his fiancée had specifically mentioned me when they were discussing dietary restrictions. Apparently, she thought my dietary restrictions were annoying. He said he tried to convince her that it wasn't a big deal, but she shut down any further discussion about it. I told him that I have medical needs and can't be out in the heat without food. Therefore, I do not feel comfortable attending. He became really frantic and said that he'll talk to her. I told him I was going to talk to her anyway. He got weird about that too. I also made sure he knew that even if I wasn't going, I would still continue helping with the planning, which didn't really calm him down. I just left after that. This entire situation is getting weirder and weirder. I'm going to talk to his fiancée next, probably tomorrow. But for now, the saga continues, I guess. Thanks for all the support and suggestions. Final update. I know I said I was going to update you all after I talked to the fiancé, but things got a little too hectic with work and everything else, so I forgot. To start off, I did go and talk to her. I called her, and we had an odd conversation. I asked if I could have the substitutions, and she said that she would not be able to do that for me. I told her that I could pay for them myself. She said no. I asked her why, and she said that the accommodation was too random. She also said that I was, and I quote, strong enough to handle some eggs, whatever that means, and that I could just deal with it myself. I explained to her that there was absolutely nothing at the wedding that I could eat other than pickles and artichoke dip, which is not enough sustenance to get me through the hot day. She told me to stop complaining and suck it up. How kind of her. I was very taken aback by this because we have been really friendly over the years that I've known her. In fact, I knew her before she and my brother got together because she was a part of my husband's friend group and still is. I was actually the one who set her and my brother up, which is another reason why I offered to help with their wedding. I called my brother again and asked him what the hell was going on because I had a very odd and somewhat disrespectful conversation with his fiancée. He made up an excuse, saying that everyone is stressed and that wedding planning is stressful, which is 100% true, and that things had gotten blown out of proportion. But I still couldn't figure out why I was the only person who got a different answer. On Monday, I finally took all of your advice and sent my brother a message saying that I would bring my own food, and if that was a problem, I wouldn't come. As much as I love him, I value my health and self-respect a little more. He left me on read for about 6 hours and then wrote back, "That's fine. Just don't make it too noticeable, please." That was the last I heard from him for a little while. But on Friday after work, I went out with one of my best friends, who is in the same friend group as my husband and the fiancé. I've been friends with her for a long time. Basically, she, her sister, and I were childhood friends, but she only met my husband and that friend group in college. Anyway, she told me that the fiancé and my husband had a very minor talking stage relationship during college, but it ended almost as quickly as it started. My friend, being her gossipy self, said that she thinks my brother's fiancé might still be in love with my husband. I didn't think that was true until I was jokingly telling my husband about what our friend had said, and my husband told me he believes that could be a possibility. What? So I asked to take a look at their private messages. And, well, she is messaging him almost every day. Despite them being in the same friend group, he isn't especially close with her. The messages are either casual, polite conversations, short conversations about shared plans or interests, or him simply ignoring her. I didn't go all the way back, but from what I can see, there is nothing weird going on. I trust my husband with my whole heart and believe he is loyal. From this point on, I'm not really sure what to do. There is no real proof that my friend's intuition is actually what's going on, and I truly believe this situation is one big misunderstanding. I don't even care about the food anymore. I'll bring my own. Anyway, just let me know what I should do now. I've basically given up. Edit, I think I confused everyone with how my brother and his fiancée met. First of all, ignore the wording of my posts in general. I introduced them because I invited my brother to a get-together that my husband and I were having. I didn't introduce them with the intention of them ending up together because there is an age gap. However, at that gathering, they became gym buddies, and over time that friendship turned into a relationship, and now they are getting married soon. I didn't mention that I introduced them because it wasn't important at the time.